Jobs, the epitome of all human existence. From the moment we become adults, we're basically thrown into the world and told, pick a way to suffer for 40 hours a week. Some jobs just take that suffering to a whole new level. And today we're going to be talking about the absolute worst ones. Let's start with retail. The place where you learn one very important lesson. The customer is not always right. They're just louder. Whether it's folding the same shirts 50 times, dealing with angry customer returns, or hearing, do you work here, while wearing the store uniform, retail might actually be a psychological experiment. The one retail job I worked, Best Buy. I was in the back majority of the time, in the back with some calm shit, but when you're sent to that floor on a Boxing Day, you might want to cease to exist. I think retail has to be one of the most inconsistent jobs, bro. Your hours are never ever regular. Now, the biggest issue I had with retail was management. When you're working a retail job, they don't want to see you take a single break. If you take a seat for 1 moment, 1 second, go ahead and clock out, my boy. Your time here is done. There was one time I had to organize every single thing to get it put on the shelves. I had paper, I had markers, I even labeled every single box, organized it to a T. I decided, damn, I put in a lot of work. Let me take a little break. Management comes around. Hey, monkey boy, why aren't you putting in all work? I had to turn around and look at this guy. I said, bro, I just did this entire thing. They did not give a fuck. They had me put that shit all out in the same moment and do it again and again and again over. Okay, that might not seem too bad. I'm just doing my job, but there's more. There's been a couple customers that came up to me asking for returns, asking me for help on some things. I would direct them to the right spots. Excuse me, miss, you gotta go right here. These guys will be able to help you. When they found out you needed a receipt to return an item, they got livid. I'm talking the whole store is hearing them. Can I speak to your manager, please? Everyone neck turning like some thick shit just walked by. Manager comes out, assistant manager comes out as well. Both of them have to deal and delegate with her. All that just for them to say the same thing. Excuse me, miss, I'm gonna have to escort you at the store. Get out! Next up, warehouse jobs, where the entire description is basically lift heavy things, move heavy things, and repeat until your back blows out. Now, the pay can be decent, but the hours, the pressure, the constant physical grind, that's what makes warehouse look like one of the most exhausting jobs there is. I've worked 2 warehouse jobs, and I currently still work one of them. The first warehouse job I worked at, FedEx. I was 19, I was broke as shit. I had maybe $1,000 for that entire year. I'm thinking I need to get a job before I turn 20. So I start grinding on Indeed, throwing out resumes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm even looking through TikTok how to find jobs. TikTok is actually what recommended this job for me. So I'm thinking, you know what? It can't be that bad. I sent them my resume. They called me in for orientation the next day. Now here's a little lesson for you guys that have never worked a job a day in your life. Or maybe you have and just never experienced this before. If a job immediately hires you, whoo, you're in for a run, buddy. They're gonna be slaving you like blacks in the 1800s. I get through my first day of orientation. I come in the next day. I realize, oh, this can't be too bad. I'm just filling up a truck with boxes. Now do that again for 4 hours straight, no break. In blistering heat. Oh, shit ain't sweet now. Now, I can't lie, for the job, it was decent pay. I was getting $20 an hour, working 4 hours a day. I was getting like $300 paychecks a week. But after a certain point of working that job, that shit wasn't worth it. Let me put things in perspective for you guys. Where I live in Canada, the average cost of rent is about $1,500. Let's do some math really quickly. 300, 600, 900, 1,200. The math ain't adding up. I set my goal to buy a car and save as much money as I could every single month. Boy, did I know what I was getting into. Every day I clocked in, I felt as if I was signing my soul to the devil. Basically, the way the day would start would be like this. You come in, you clock in, they do a little group warm up, you know, some stretches and whatnot. You get sent to the trucks that you're supposed to be working on. The first 30 minutes, you know, some calm shit, maybe like a few boxes here and there coming down. You know, you just put them in their spot. That's as easy as it gets. Around that 1 hour mark, them boxes were flooding in. You would have thought it was Miami. I'm talking, I have to move Goku Ultra Instinct speeds to get these boxes up. I had to stack this shit like Lego. Genuinely, I felt like I was one of those slaves building the pyramids. And the worst part is, there was no AC, so everybody was boofing. I'm talking, there's a couple times I had to pick up some of the boxes. I'm hitting one of these. Now look, a lot of you might be thinking 4 hours is not that crazy to work. You're right, it's not. But I was also working another full-time job, and that is the current warehouse job I work right now. A typical day would look like this for me. Wake up at 5 o'clock, go to my first warehouse job, work from 6:30 to 2:30, commute from the bus all the way from that warehouse job to the other warehouse job, work from 4 to 8, get home by 10:30 and go to sleep, rinse and repeat. I did that shit for 2 months. That was the worst 2 months I've ever lived in my life. Fast food might look simple from the outside, but behind the counter, it's a controlled chaos. Orders flying in non-stop, managers yelling at you about drive-through times, and somehow you're expected to move at superhuman speed, all for that sweet minimum wage payment. Now, I've never worked a fast food job before, but from the stories I've heard, boy oh boy, I'd rather be broke than to work a fast food job. I heard during fast food that you're extremely disgustingly dirty with grease. You have to wear non-stick shoes and it's always blistering hot. There's a couple times I go inside a restaurant to get my burger and I hear customers ripping through at the employees. And these guys are trying their hardest to keep composure. Now I can't lie, you fast food workers gotta be one of the strongest ones out there. Because if I had someone dash a drink in my face when I was on shift, you better believe I'm losing my job that day. And have you seen them fast food washrooms? I swear to God, if a manager came up to me and told me to clean that shit, here you go, bro. You could take my hat, you could take my badge. Sayonara. Disrespect and heat is just not one of those things I think I could take in a job. So fast food might have to be one of the worst up there. And then there's being a server, a job where your paycheck depends entirely on how nice the customer is feeling that day. One table can make your night and another can completely ruin it. So in America and Canada, servers actually make less than minimum wage because their tips are supposed to compensate for the rest of that wage. I heard that if a table does not tip at all, the employee has to pay out of pocket for that table. Now, to understand why someone would want to work one of these jobs, I couldn't tell you. Food service is not one of those jobs where I think I would ever touch a day in my life. Especially knowing I have this color skin, I don't know, going up to a white folk and just having to serve them for my entire night, I don't think that sits right with me. Hey boy, can you get me a water? I said I don't like my coffee too black. Now, there's definitely some perks about being a server. I've seen so many servers get tipped beautiful amounts, but I've also seen disgraceful people doing despicable things to these servers.
The food was like really good, but your breath kind of ruined the service. Like complete dog shit.
Yelling at them, disrespecting them, not tipping them. And I can't lie, if you go to a restaurant and you don't tip, and I'm talking a seated restaurant and you don't tip, you might be one of the problems. I understand not tipping at like a kiosk, or if they flip that machine at you and it says, tip? Fuck no, my nigga. I stood up in line and ordered my food. What am I tipping you for? But being a server, walking around on your feet all day, carrying plates and stacking cups like you're some type of circus mule, I just don't think that's one of those jobs where I'd work at. And then there's the receipt checker job. You know that person standing at like the exit of stores like Costco and Walmart? Their entire job description is basically stand there and look stupid. I mean, look at a receipt and check what's in the cart. And then draw a line on a little piece of paper and repeat that for 8 hours straight. So imagine having to explain to someone, so what do you do for work? Oh, I just stand there and do nothing. No running around, no complicated tasks, just you, a highlighter, and a slow realization that this might be the most repetitive, useless, and mind-numbing job on the planet. There's actually been a couple times where I've been profiled by a receipt checker too. Buddy thought I was stealing milk. My brother. My father never even came back with the milk. What the fuck makes you think I'm going to? And those are some of the absolute worst types of jobs. Now, obviously, every job has its struggles, and someone out there probably enjoys doing some of these jobs. But for most people, these are the type of jobs that make you question your life choices halfway through the shift. But I'm curious, what do you think is the worst job of all time? Let me know down in the comments below, because I already know some of you guys have some horror stories. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and stick around for more videos like this. I'm gonna be posting every single week. And if you want to see more of my content, especially for reaction style videos, make sure to check out my second channel, Who's Davion. I'll be reacting to all types of stuff over there every single day, so if that's your speed, definitely go show some love. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for watching. WWC, let go.